1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blast off!
Blast off! What are you guys doing to her?
We're giving her a treat.
Don't throw trash in there. Just give her a treat.
Ow! She did.
Okay. Getting ready to leave. We're heading over towards Barstow, Baker, and then across the border into Nevada. And hopefully by the end of the day we'll be in Vegas. Not sure exactly where in Vegas we're going to stay. Our usual spots are always options. The Orleans, back of Bally's in Paris, but we'll see. So it's 110 miles to Barstow. We'll shoot for that as our first leg. Okay. And from Barstow, I think we can try take a little break for I don't know how long, and then
take a little break.
Try to make it all the way to Vegas by the end of the day.
Take a little break.
Okay. You ready to take a little break, Luca?
Yeah.
Yeah?
What's that thing?
Okay, no more kicking Daddy. Daddy's driving.
Daddy's driving, it's too dangerous.
Now I'm going to you.
Fishing? You can find anything that sticks. Yeah.
We're gonna do the Ask Us Anything stuff from our vlog number 5, I think?
Yeah, number 5.
Right? Okay. So, we're doing this while we're driving. We are driving towards Las Vegas right now. Probably gonna get to Barstow. We're about 60 miles away from Barstow on the Pear Blossom Highway. So we figure this is about as good a time to do it as any. And hopefully the noise is not too bad. So let's start with the questions we have on the comments in the vlog, and we'll try to do as many of them as we can.
Alright, first question from Ann Pfeiffer. Has a drought caused any problems for you?
You want to go first?
Sure.
You can answer that one.
It hasn't. We don't use... Thank you. We don't look up.
I caught you.
We have a 40-gallon water tank, right?
Yeah.
And that lasts us about 3 days or so. And when we're boondocking and need more water, we have 5-gallon water jugs that we fill up. And we get it from a spigot somewhere, or we pay for filtered water if we have to. And we haven't had any trouble with any drought.
And our prices really haven't gone up.
No.
Not for us anyways.
Mommy, I caught you.
But it's definitely something that's on the back of our mind. One place that I have noticed recently, we were at Pioneer Town Motel, and they had shut the water off of like the sprinklers and all the pipes that go around like the peripheral of the motel. So some of those spigots were not working. Well, we just had to go through one of the gates into one of the pipes on the inside of the property, then it worked. So, you know, stuff like that is happening, but for the most part, we're not really that affected, but it is a serious situation though.
Mommy, I caught you.
What do you think about the drought, Luca? Where do we get our water from?
From Alaska.
From Alaska, yeah. We're gonna pipe it down?
No, we water.
All right, second question, thank you, Ann, is from C. Quesnell 13. Is the cost of living on the road less or the same as living in a traditional home?
I'm cutting, Mama.
Okay, don't cut, Mama. I would say, by and large, it's less.
Yeah.
maybe more so for us compared to geographically where we used to live in the United States, which is Southern California. In that comparison, it's a lot less. Rentals, mortgages, even small studio apartments, they cost a lot of money compared to how much it costs to live in an RV. Everything else is more or less the same. We eat out just about as much.
Gas
Our
is
grocery,
a little bit more.
Gas is a hair bit more, but that's only because before we started traveling, we already worked from home, so we didn't commute.
Right.
But for somebody who does commute,
quite comparable.
Probably comparable, and also, you know, you may have a couple of cars, maybe even upwards of 3-4 cars in your family. We only have one, so we only have to worry about maintenance with one, insurance with one, everything just one vehicle. So yeah, so I would say that's less. I can go into a more detailed breakdown, like in a blog post later on, or maybe in another vlog we'll get into more detail if people are interested. But definitely less.
Luca, you think we save money living on the road? Cost us less or more?
Save
Save
money. All right. Okay, Dennis McHale. Okay, I have a question. How in the world did you become such awesome parents?
Come on, Dennis. That's not a real question. But thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. All right. Next up, Noel Navarro. What an amazing lifestyle you guys have. How do you guys do it? How do you support yourself financially while on the road?
Just like everybody else, we work. And I know that's probably one of the most common questions we get asked. Yeah, we work. Like I said earlier, I've been working from home as a contractor, freelance web software developer for a number of years. Within the last couple of years, I started working for a company full-time, but I'm able to work from home with that job as well. It takes a fair amount of dedication and discipline to be able to work from home, to be productive, and I don't think it's something that everybody can necessarily do right off the bat. And I think if somebody really wanted to do it and can put their minds to bumpy bridge, put their mind into, you know, building that discipline, they can prove to employers or clients that you are just as good, if not better, than somebody who works out of an office. So yeah, we don't have a giant savings account. We don't have trust funds. We support ourselves just like everybody else does. And going along with the earlier question about how much it costs to live on the road, because it is less, it's actually relatively easy. So that's how we do it. And there's other ways to do it. And we have some of our full-time traveling friends that have written blog posts about this very topic, and we can link to those down in the comments or down the description below if you're interested.
I want all of those.
So thank you, Noel. Thanks for the question. That's a good one that everybody asks.
All right, next question. Your mama's talking now, okay? Is from Ellen Shasko. It's so much fun peeking in on your adventures through Instagram and now YouTube. I thought of a couple questions now that you've been through the lower 48. What have been some of your most favorite spots to visit? She has a few questions, so we can answer that one first.
Okay. You want to give that a shot first?
Sure. Love the Eastern Sierras. So that's
Which is
backside of Yosemite.
Right.
Up the Highway 395.
We can overlay some map of the regions we're talking about right here or right here. Somewhere over here.
All right. So that's our favorite. We love the Grand Tetons. It's usually overshadowed by Yellowstone.
Yeah, and just not necessarily just the national park, the surrounding national forest also.
Yeah, our favorite boondocking spots probably in the national forest are all of the U.S. that we've been to so far. We start going into cities. I love Savannah. I love camping at Skidaway Island State Park and just walking around the squares of the city.
Mommy, I want to try.
And let's see, the Florida Keys are always a hit. Is that 4? And one more. I don't know. What are your top 5?
Paige? Are you forgetting Paige?
I forgot Paige, yeah. Paige, Arizona. Horseshoe Bend, Antelope Valley. Canyon.
Antelope Canyon. We're in Antelope Valley right now. It's not like Antelope Canyon.
No, it's not.
Lake Powell, Lone Rock Beach.
Yeah, it's a good place to camp.
It's really overshadowed by the popularity of Grand Canyon, which is just around the corner down the Colorado River. But Page, Arizona, it's every bit as good as any place in the world. But when you get these links to articles about some of the most beautiful places in the world on the internet, Page is always on there. If not for Horseshoe Bend, for Antelope Canyon, and a lot of the time it's both. Like they'll have like a top 10 most beautiful places in the world, and there'll be 2 locations from Page, which should tell you something about how mind-blowing the region is.
Did you buy your Airstream new? We bought it from a dealership. It was a year old, sitting on the lot during...
It was never owned by anybody else but the dealership.
Yeah, it was just sitting
But it
there.
was last year's model.
And it was we bought during the 2008, during the recession, and they were just wanted to get rid of their backstock, and we got a pretty good deal, like 40% off or something, sticker price probably.
Yeah, it's crazy. Bottom line is that we couldn't afford this same Airstream new off of the lot today. Not that we wouldn't want to spend that much money, right? Even if we could afford it, it would be a lot harder to justify. So yeah, we did buy new. We're glad that we did, because we had warranty work, a couple of things done while it was covered under warranty, which is really convenient and got us over sort of the initial hump of knowing how to work on it ourselves. And now we can work on a lot of stuff ourselves, having owned this now going on 7.5 years.
And do you foresee yourself giving up traveling anytime in the future?
Not traveling in general. Traveling in Airstream specificically, I don't know. I think I can keep doing this, and even just to keep traveling in the US for at least another 4 or 5 years without feeling like that we've seen it all. Having been to all 48 states mean nothing really, because even with we have a little rule where we have to stay in each state at least 2 nights and eat at a local place that only exists in that state. Even with that little rule, still limits the exposure we have in some places that we go. Certain states we've stayed months in. Other states we've stayed the minimum, just a few nights. So we feel like that we want to go back, not even just to the popular places. We love to just go back around and look for hidden gems that people don't usually go to, and those usually turn out to be the best. And I guess other forms of traveling will come later, and as long as our lifestyle and my income stream can sustain this, then I think we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, I don't see us stopping anytime soon. Thank you for the questions.
Yeah, thank you. Is that it?
That's about halfway. Should we keep going? Just finish it off?
Sure.
All right, Renee Clark. Hi there. I'm curious about the double axle on your Airstream affects getting it level. We have experience working hard on getting a pop-up trailer level before cranking up the roof. We worry the metal posts of the roof will twist if not level. We hope to make the move up to to an Airstream someday, and my husband thinks the double axle is a leveling nightmare. Perhaps getting level is not as crucial when parts of the roof aren't moving. His concerns are valid as we put the camper us 22 times last summer during our 5-week coast-to-coast and back trip. Thanks for sharing your journeys.
Going coast to coast in a pop-up is pretty crazy, right?
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Good for you guys. Double axle trailer leveling with a non-pop-up trailer is not a problem. Never think about it. You know, I don't have things that needs to line up. The Airstream is a pretty rigid construction. You know, the entire chassis is metal. The aluminum construction there's ribs all around the inside and skin on the inside and the outside. So it does flex a little bit, so it'll give, but it's not like we have to line things up in order to like put the canvas tent on and stuff like that. So not a problem at all when it comes to leveling. And I've had to go up 3 or 4 blocks on one side, and in some extreme circumstances I've gone 3 or 4 blocks on one side, and then I've had to dig holes on the opposite side for tires to go in to get level. You know, as long as you're doing both tires on each side at the same time, which is what I always do, then leveling is really a piece of cake.
Okay.
So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
All right, thank you, Renee. Next question from Betsy Browning. When you just started traveling in your Airstream, you inspired us, and we are trying to make changes in our lives, enjoying the lifestyle. Do you ever worry about being so remote sometimes?
Do you want to do that one? Because I don't worry, but
I'm scared of everything. Like when we first spent our night at our first Walmart, I was like, somebody's going to kill us. If you do it, you know, the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with it. And same thing with boondocking. We're in the middle of nowhere. At first, it was a little scary, and that's why it took us a while to get into it, because I was scared. But the more we did it, you know, I feel more comfortable now being in a remote area than I do at a busy campground or in a city. There's nobody out there.
Yeah, and I think it's the illusion of like the boogeyman that we've all grown up with, right? As kids,
Yeah.
You think it's lurking in the dark, lurking
Somebody.
out in the distance where you can't see them. But really, the boogeyman are the people that are in cities. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really scared of that. We're not ever that remote. From time to time, we'll be a good 10-15 miles from some form of civilization. But the reality is we don't want to be in any place that's far more remote than that, because it's not convenient for us to like get water or get groceries or, you know, get things. So from the photos and some of the blog posts that you see, yeah, the pictures might make us look like we're in the middle of nowhere, hundreds of miles from civilization. But in reality, it's like there's probably a Walmart 10 miles down the road.
Yeah.
So, and I have to have internet. Verizon coverage or AT&T has to be good coverage for me to work. So, you know, and we try not to spend a lot of time, except for maybe a couple nights on the weekends, in places that are completely without coverage. So if anything happens, we just pick up our phone. And this is what I always say to other people too, is that people should be afraid of us, right? They come up to our trailer out in the middle of the desert, and we can see them through the window. They can't see us on the inside, so they don't know who we are. They don't know, you know, what kind of danger they might be putting themselves in. So if you kind of think about the reality of it all, it's not nearly as dangerous as people might think. But we are aware that anything's possible. So yeah, that's a valid concern, and thanks for asking.
Ann Holz has asked, how do you handle all the wet towels after showers? I have little command strip hooks on the walls and in the bathroom, and everybody has their own hook, and I just hang them up there, and they seem to dry just fine. So if a towel is really wet, I'll hang it over the shower door a little bit, but we really haven't had any trouble even with humid areas with wet towels. If it still's not drying, then I'll put up a little clothesline outside between a couple trees or something and have it dry in the sun.
Yeah, places with high humidity obviously causes more issues than like the dry desert. In the dry desert area, we have more issues with, you know, like bloody noses and being too dry than anything else.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not, yeah, and spending most of our time on the western part of the country, it's drier. It's definitely drier. But when we are out on the East Coast, especially in the southeast, when it's really humid, I don't know.
No, we don't.
Hang it outside?
Yeah. I mean, when we're boondocking, we don't shower every day, every other day, so it has time for us to, the towels have time to dry.
Yeah, time to dry. Right. Laundromat. It's really bad, you take it to the laundromat and dry it.
All right, thank you, Anne. Next question is from Christopher Hilton. I'm a web developer about to embark on a cross-country boondocking adventure. What was your internet setup, and what has your experience been like working remotely?
Okay, so internet setup, let me just tell you briefly what I've got. My primary internet is a Verizon Jetpack. I have a 40 gig data plan, and our 40 gig data plan is part of our phone plans as well. So we have 2 iPhone 6s and a Verizon Jetpack that shares 40 gigs. As long as we're not streaming a lot of video, we're not you know, downloading a bunch of videos from iTunes or syncing a bunch of data up to the cloud, 40 gig is plenty for just casual use and then work. I use a Wilson Cradle booster for that jetpack. So in places where I'm getting sort of 1 or 2 bars of Verizon LTE, I stick it in that booster and it'll bring it up to about 3-4 bars. So it works really well. It just comes with this little stubby magnetic mount antenna that you put on the top of your car. And it works, you know, even though it's not very big, it works really well. Just as a backup, Verizon by far is the best coverage in the lower 48. There are some places that we've been to that has just AT&T. So for that, I carry a AT&T hotspot as well, and use their prepaid GoPhone service to get a few gigs of data on an as-needed basis. So that is sort of the basic setup that we use, and it works really well. You just have to make sure, you know, you kind of scout out places that you go to make sure that it's going to have connection.
Yeah, a lot of times it keeps us out of national parks during the week, and we can only camp in the national park on the weekends because they have no service. That's just trade-off. Last question is from Drew Bradford. Hey, great channel you guys have started. Are you freelance web developer or do you have a full-time position? I'm a motion graphic designer. I am starting the process of finding a job that would allow me to work from home and travel. Any insight on how you searched for or landed a work from home position would be great. How's your internet speed? Thanks so much, Drew.
I guess this one ties to the last question also about, this is sort of just like a work-related stuff. You know, I don't know if my work situation is applicable with everybody else's. You can certainly start with freelance work, and which I did for a majority of our full-time life. I started in 2004 freelancing and contracting and just using relationships that I built through jobs that I had in the past, all the way up until 2013. And in 2013 I started working for a company, and that company was started by people that also started the last company I worked at before 2004, so I had a good relationship with them already. And I wasn't living in the area anymore, so we worked out a situation where I can work mostly from home. I do have to make office visits, and that's not a big deal. You know, when we're in the Southern California area, I just, you know, we try to stay near, and then I will just go there. I'll drive there, and when I'm, you know, farther away, I can always hop on a plane, fly in. And as far as looking for work, you know, that's just you having to sort of, right, build that reputation for yourself. When I was contracting, freelancing, you know, I would just go by people that I used to work with. I've gone to different companies and, you know, hit them up and ask them if they need any help. And also Craigslist sometimes, you know, you can go on Craigslist to see what other people are doing and you know, what kind of work is out there.
And how's internet speed?
LTE is great. LTE is fantastic. You know, I mean, I don't know if the speed test that we do is realistic, but I'm getting like in the neighborhood of 15 megabits up and down when we have good LTE connection. And like I said, with Verizon, it seems to be everywhere. With my work, I can get by with 3G, which is not nearly as fast, maybe 1 or 2 megabits at most, but that's sufficient. It allows me to do online meetings, allows me to send emails, and with the kind of work that I do, it's not as crucial to have really, really fast bandwidth. But I would imagine with motion graphics, you're transferring big files up and down, so that might be a problem. And bandwidth, it's not so much the speed, it's just the amount of bandwidth will be a problem as well. You know, you're going to be paying a lot of money to get probably the amount of bandwidth you're going to need transferring files that are up in the gigabytes in size. So
you have to hop around looking for Wi-Fi at Target and Lowe's and
right,
libraries.
You can always fall back to that. Work from Starbucks or work from places that have fast internet, so you don't have to worry about tap into your own bandwidth. That again definitely limits the places that you can go, but it's an option.
All right, we got them all covered.
That's
I think.
it.
Yeah.
All right, I want to thank you guys for asking those questions. I hope this really helps. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them at the comment section of any of our vlog videos. We'll be happy to try and include this as like a regular segment into this vlog series. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.